Jamie Luker Troutman, and I'm a Republican candidate for Circuit Clerk. And I want to share with you this morning why I'm the right choice to be your next clerk. I was born and raised in Cullman County, grew up in the West Point community. I'm a graduate of Cullman High School, and I attended Wallace State. I'm also a graduate of Auburn University and have a degree in public relations. I'm married to Billy Troutman from the Gold Ridge community, and Billy was an ag teacher, but now he serves as the cooperative education coordinator for the Cullman County school system. And Billy and I have two children, Luke and Blair. When I was in college, I did an internship at the U.S. Space and Rocket Center in Huntsville in the PR administration office. And after that, I had job leads, so Billy and I moved to Huntsville, where I got a job at the Huntsville Chamber of Commerce. But it didn't take long to realize that we were not where we needed to be, and we had to get back home to Cullman, where we both belonged. There's something special about Cullman and its people, and this is definitely home. And that was never more evident than this past April during the tornadoes. That had a massive impact on my life, and it made, I think, all of our lives, and it made us appreciate the small things and realize what's important. It also demonstrated who we can depend on. But even though that was a terrible thing, my heart fills with pride when I think about what people did, and it showed what Cullman people are made of. We didn't wait on anyone, we just jumped in there and we made things happen. And this is the kind of people that this county is made of, and that's why I love it. I've worked at the Cullman Economic Development Agency for over 11 years, and there I serve as the Project Development Coordinator, recruiting business and industry that create jobs in Cullman County. In addition to that, we work on many projects such as infrastructure projects and acquiring federal and state funding for different projects in the Cullman area. The experience I have gained at the Economic Development Office will be invaluable to my job as Circuit Clerk. I have experience working in a government office, dealing with and working within budgets, legal matters, legal documents and contracts, working with our legislative delegation, the filing of important and time-sensitive documents, organization of files, and compiling massive amounts of facts, figures, and documentation on an extremely tight deadline. Confidentiality is a big part of my job, and we may work with a prospect for months, but unable to let anyone know because that prospect requires that, or releasing that information would be detrimental to their business. With the clerk's office, while most records are public, confidentiality has to be maintained for those records that are protected by law. I have three priorities in my campaign. They are accountability, customer service, and creating a website for the clerk's office. I'm competent in technology. I helped with the creation of the website at the Economic Development Office, and I maintain that now. I want to develop a website for the Circuit Clerk's Office, and it will give people access to public records and files and forms online. And it will reduce the need for them to visit the office, and that will save time and expense. This is a modern era, and the use of technology is required for efficiency, and I want this to be easy and clearly organized. Like I said, I'm competent and at ease online. All Circuit Clerk offices in the state of Alabama are linked to the same system in Montgomery. You need IT help or you have questions, you go through this system. For forms, you simply go to the Administrative Office of Courts website, which is alacourt.gov, and you'll find forms for civil, criminal, small claims, traffic, and others. And there you download the forms used by the clerk's office. You can direct people to alapay.com, where they can pay traffic and district court fines online. The Alabama Administrative Office of Courts has electronic filing, and you have a password, and you enter that into AlaFile. The trial courts can also be obtained through this site. This is a simple system to learn and operate. There's a state association of clerks, and that's a tight group that work together on legislative issues, and these are people that you can go to for questions or advice. And on August 1st, 2011, Governor Bentley appointed Judge Charles Malone of Tuscaloosa to the office of the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. That person is responsible for appointing the Administrative Director of Courts, which is over the Circuit Clerk's offices throughout the state. The funding problem in the courts is a major issue, and the clerk's office is feeling the effects of this. But I hope that through the appointment of a Republican replacing Sue Bell Cobb, that they can make something happen and lessen the hardship these offices are currently under. It is situations like this that require a clerk who is involved, driven, and informed. Someone who will go to Montgomery or pick up the phone and say, hey, we're hurting here in Cullman County or statewide, and we need you to do this for us. Someone who knows to call on other clerks and talk to the association to present a unified front and fight for those dollars in Montgomery for our local office. If you want something done, my philosophy is you can either sit around and complain about it or you can stand up and make something happen. You know, it's kind of like people that don't vote, but then they complain about our leaders. Well, the leaders are only as good as the people that vote. And so our funding isn't just going to appear one day, but we've got to work to get a piece of that pie. I was appointed to 3 terms by Governor Bob Riley to the State Health Coordinating Council, and I've been involved with the Economic Development Association of Alabama. I've also worked with the North Alabama Agriplex, which is a board dedicated to preserving our farming heritage. All of those are under state funding, or the Agriplex is under state funding, and I have dealt with that budget and the state audits that go along with those funds. I have a clue about what it takes to make things happen and how the system works. I've personally met with the clerks in Morgan and Winston counties, and I've heard firsthand the difficulties resulting from the lack of funding. The staffs have been drastically cut by about 45%, and this is creating a backlog. And it's forced them to reduce their hours or close down during certain times, whatever works within that county. But I can promise you that I will jump in there and do whatever is needed. I'm not afraid or too good to stand there at the counter and collect payments, answer the phones, or sweep the floor. Whatever it takes is what I'll do. I would never ask one of my employees to do something that I wouldn't do myself or that should be my responsibility in the first place. The clerk's office, or the position, is not one that is making laws or ordinances, but it's record keeping and enforcing the law and decision of the court. It's a link between the courts and the public. Just imagine it like this. The clerk's office is like a bicycle tire. The office is the hub in the middle, and then there are spokes coming off of that. And those spokes are the courts, the sheriff's office, the state, juvenile court, lawyers, and public. Everything has to pass through that hub and then go back out to another one of those spokes. You have to have someone in the position of clerk who has leadership and people skills, someone that can get along with these groups and provide accurate and timely information. I think we're here on earth for 2 reasons. Number 1 is to serve the Lord and try to win others for Him. And number 2 is to live our lives so that we made a difference, that the world is a little bit better place because we were in it. And I want to make a difference as your circuit clerk. I want to help those that come through the office as best I can and treat them with respect. I'll be considerate, responsible for my actions, and work hard every day to do the best possible job for Cullman and its citizens. Leadership is service and involvement. I'm the Republican leader that will stand in a crowded room when others sit during these difficult times. Ask for your prayers and vote in the March primary. Thank you.